Shall we? 8 minutes late? Can we? I think we go. You start, I start.
The end is near, and to every end there's a beginning, and that also applies to the network. I think we have had a great, wonderful network, and Maxim Salomon, Niels Bakker, and Elisa Jasinski will tell you more.
Thank you.
Okay. This is Maxim, this is Niels, I'm Elisa, and we're going to... It's okay? So we're going to present what we did for the network planning and design, and in the end rolling out all the stuff here on the campsite, and how that went, and what we experienced in the past couple of weeks while doing that. So let's start out with some numbers and some stuff we used here on this field. We basically stole some fiber from previous events. The gray fiber was used at Hull a couple of years ago. The black fiber is from WaterHack, so they had spares. And we had in total about 4 kilometers of fiber that we rolled out on this field. We got a lot of help from volunteers that arrived earlier, digging in the stuff in between tents, because yeah? Yeah? Besser? Okay. Ist an? Ist besser? Gut, dann nehme ich den. So yeah, a lot of digging was involved, and it was difficult to put all in so we can like protect the fiber and take care of, well, not destroying only uplink we have to this campsite and cutting everybody off from the internet out there and things like that. So also, because we had like huge rolls of fiber, we had Starbuck helping us with splicing connectors to it. It was quite some work. It took a couple of days in the end to finish everything with his. Well, he took his stuff from work or somewhere, I guess. So he was sitting there on the field, basically everywhere where we needed to splice something after the fiber was already in the ground, and putting connectors on it. And the first rough idea, I mean, of course you sit down up front and you think about what would we like to do or what would we like to have, but you haven't been here before. Well, we saw the campsite before and we had a rough idea of how the area looks like, but you never know where people are going to stay in the end, or where people are going to put their tents, or where a lot of stuff is going to happen. So a first rough plan was made somewhere beginning this summer, and it looked like that. So it was basically a drawing on paper, that's a scan, and well, we have some things that differ from this first idea right now. We will see another plan later on that actually shows what happened on this field, but just to see, like, that was the first idea we had of putting internet on this campsite. To connect everybody and to place switches somewhere in the field, we need something like, well, something to put them in. So there is already the known great facility, network facility of a Datenklo, where well, we can put in the switches. They stay dry in there. They're waterproofed, so it's not getting too hot. At least everything was pretty okay with the temperature in there so far. So when we arrived here, the first thing we basically had to do was to lock up the clothes, because after they were standing in a row at the entrance. Some museum visitor already mistook them as a real claw, and before we had the chance to put a lock on it, so we locked them up so that people actually know that it's not a toilet. And we started building some stuff. Bram helped us to get like some wood inside so we can actually place the switch somewhere and not on the toilet seat and things like that. Well, and then we were basically walking around the campsite looking like, okay, which area is nice and where should we put a toilet? And, well, moving them happened with this truck thingy. So we placed in total about 17 data toilets on the whole campground in various areas. And connected them, most of them with the fibers before. So, and then besides all the things that we have on the campsite, actually, we had the uplink fiber, and the uplink fiber is our one and only connection to the outside world from this ground, because there is not really a huge demand on bandwidth on this airfield normally. So we talked to a lot of people up front, and the local companies and some other companies made it possible to get like this single mode fiber laid from the next pop in Fino, which is 3.5 kilometers to the west side, to where the NOC trailer is standing right now next to this shelter. It's going like it's going basically over the grass everywhere, so we dug in most of it on this camp field as well, and then it follows a road for a while. And in the beginning we were worried about, well, there's apparently there's an issue here with copper theft, and people might mistake that for a copper cable and cut off parts of it or something, but it basically is still there and it's still running as far as I know, so that went pretty well. That is the path where it's actually going. So we start here at the 2 bunkers and the NOC trailer on the left side, and it's going over the whole airfield, somewhere through some woods, ending up in Fino up there. So this fiber was put in place by Telta, the local internet provider here in the area, and so we could pretty much start from like the end point already having a connection here on the airfield. So in the end, after being here and considering everything and having the data toilets ready, we put everything in place, and in the end it looked like this. We did not, for example, we didn't know that in the beginning that, well, quite a lot of people will show up here, so this whole area on the bottom wasn't planned to be a camping area, and we had to expand that day by day. The last switch over here we put in there yesterday or 2 days ago, just in case somebody might want to connect there already. And another thing was the west end on that side. It looked like a wood from like the maps and seeing it on a plan for the first time, but once we walked there it looked like a really nice wood with spots in between the trees actually to put the tents. So okay, we had to drive somewhere with the Datenklo inside the wood so that people can connect there as well, and it ended up being like this. Well, okay, and of course it's not enough to have a lot of fiber and a lot of toilets. We have to have some stuff to put inside there. So here's a long list of, well, some hardware we got from companies, sponsors, individuals that just brought stuff along they have spare or don't need, or, well, I'm not going to name that all now, it is quite something. And next to that, to like build the network, we also need to provide at least some services. So we had a couple of servers to run DHCP, DNS, and everything that is like needed next to a network here. So the hardware arrived here like on the first day when we actually started building.
Thought you were good photos.
Yeah. The hardware started showing up here, I think, 1.5 weeks ago. So we basically had 1.5 weeks to set everything up and also place the fiber and do everything on this campsite. So we started out with unpacking everything and stacking it and see what we actually have and what we got, because in the end you never know what a company will have spare, and you never really have this fixed picture of we are going to get this and that. Something's changed, somebody's bringing more or less or something, somebody forgot about something, so you have to rearrange quite some stuff or arrange something in the last second to actually be able to use it as planned. So we started puzzling around what we can do with this stuff. And you might have seen this white trailer next to the shelter here. This trailer was on. Here we go. This trailer was on the campsite before, and somebody told us we can use it for being like a co-location or something like that. So we placed it pretty much in the center to have a good way to put our core somewhere and to run fibers from there to everywhere else. It used to have an air conditioning inside, but it's like really old, and we did not. I think we did try to actually run it, but it didn't work. So we had a couple of air conditionings in there, and there were like holes already on one side. So we had a place to run all the fibers out of the trailer and out of our data room inside there. We got a rack, fortunately, from somebody. So inside this we had a rack. Okay, so guess what? Left is before and right is after.
Right is now.
Right is now, exactly. Well, for the next hour or something. So yeah, we got this rack, so we don't have to put like everything on tables, and it was quite nice to could stack things on top of each other. What happened to the Cisco and Foundry with the fans? I think it was something that like the Foundry was on top of the Cisco in the rack in the first place, and the Cisco blows the air out there where the Cisco sucks it in again, and we had some heating issues, so we had to rearrange that as well. I think these things are not really built to be in a rack next to each other or something. But
or we mounted it the wrong way around or something.
Or we mounted it the wrong way around, exactly. You never know. Okay, so that was the main core in this white trailer standing next to the shelter. We had a couple of, sort of bigger pubs connected on the campsite with 10 gig connections. One of them was the Hack Center, and like 2 or 3 more toilets that were pretty much distributing stuff further. So one toilet on the south side, on the south camping side, was with 10 gig, and from there we could fan out to 2 small access switches. So that was the switch we had in the Hack Center to connect the whole west side and everybody in the Hack Center. And okay, oh yeah, and talking about the cooling problems. So I think first we had 1 air conditioning in there. Then we got 2 spare ones, and with 3 air conditioning we had still like 60 degrees at some point in this trailer. So we ran to the hardware store and got the 4th one, which was a bit more powerful than the first 3. Actually, the 4th one was as powerful as the first 3 together. So in the end, we ended up having 4 air conditionings going out of this trailer like that, and it was quite okay at the end.
After that.
Still warm. Okay. Does that work? Or?
Does this work now? All right. So I'll talk a little bit about the actual network layout. This is the drawing of the final layout as it actually was out